come to the next one. Now this on the left is a normal heart, and on the right is a hypertrophied heart. This is the result of hypertension. If it is uncontrolled, you see the heart muscle will thicken. And the heart is special organ because not only it can thicken, but it can also relax. It's elastic. And when the heart thickens, the elasticity is lost. And if one part of the pump is lost, I think Mabautan can tell you that the pump will no longer function as a pump because the pump has to receive adequately before it can push out. So that's why this is a sure sign that you will end up with heart failure if you don't treat your blood pressure adequately. Now have a look at this one. This is from another view. We have taken a pathological section, a cross section, and you see the heart is so thick in hypertension, so thick, and the opening is so small now. And this scar is a previous heart attack. This part of the heart is destroyed. You can see this. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a scar tissue. And if there are many scar tissues, then the heart will start thinning out. Now the treatment of hypertension, I'm not going through all that, except that lifestyle changes come on top. Then comes medicines, drugs. When I was a medical student, water tablets were the common drugs for hypertension. They were extremely inconvenient because you had to urinate frequently. They also produce all sorts of things, adverse effects like electrolyte imbalance, and they also produce gout. You have heard of gout, I think, acute gout. If you take a lot of these water tablets, it can raise the uric acid. Now, over the years, because we are getting better and better tablets, the doses of water tablets have been getting smaller and smaller. When I was a medical student, it used to be given in 50 mg. Then it became 25, then 12.5, and now it's 6.25. And that is also as an add-on. Means you are taking some other medicine which is not working up to the mark, so you add a water tablet for 6.25 mg. The next one is, there are many families of drugs, calcium channel blockers, beta blockers. Beta blockers, you may have heard of the drug Inderal. You may have heard of Inderal. It was a very popular beta blocker. Now the beta blocker, they end with LOL, LOL. Any drug that you see LOL is a beta blocker, like propranolol, metoprolol, bisprolol, nadolol. If LOL is there, it is belongs to a beta blocker group. Now, I'm skipping all that and I'm coming to this ACE inhibitors and ARB. These are the latest drugs available for hypertension. The ACE, they have this list: captopril, enalapril. You must have heard of some of them. And the most popular is ramipril. It is extensively used in heart patients, heart attacks. But all these drugs, they produce cough. Even if you are a non-smoker, it gives a hacking cough. And with the original one, captopril, it is up to 30%. But it is now quite cheap because the patent is over. ARB, angiotensin receptor blockers, they are expensive, but they don't have cough as a side effect, but they are expensive. I check the cost of telmisartan in USA. My wife is taking. So if you buy an 80 milligram for 1 month, it costs $80 US dollars out of pocket. But if you have insurance, then they pay. They pay part of it. But if you are paying, it is $80. And if you are taking 3 or 4 drugs, myself, and 3 or 4 drugs for my spouse, then we had it. And we can't afford, then better go back to India. You see? Yeah. In India, the drugs are, India is a pharmaceutical hub in the world. But all the raw materials come from China. So China and India, they control the pharmaceutical industry in the world. Okay, now I come to the ischemic heart disease. You have heard of angina and heart attack.
Hmm.
Both are very serious. Coronary arteries, the right, it supplies a less important part of the heart, the right ventricle, and the left, it divides into two and sometimes three, circumflex and left anterior descending. Now, this left anterior descending is so big that if it is occluded, the person practically dies if it's not helped. And it is called widower's artery because it usually affects men. And then, the wife will be a widower because he's not going to survive. That's why it's called widower's artery. Now they get blocked. So what do you do? You see, initially this cholesterol, this is a normal artery. The cholesterol gets deposited here as a plaque, and it narrows, but the blood is still moving. And then one day, clot is superimposed on it and makes 100% obstruction. If that happens, then that heart supplied by this artery is going to die unless it is rescued. Now, there are two ways to rescue that. This is just one way to rescue is you do angiography and you put a stent. I'll show you just now. But that has to be done. Here is a picture where the heart attack has occurred. You see, this part of the heart is damaged. And this is not going to recover. This will be replaced by a scar tissue. It will be not functioning as a muscle. Now, when they do angiography, what they put is they put a balloon and then they open up the artery. They plaster all the muck, the plaques, the cholesterol onto the wall of the artery. And then they put a scaffolding. Ma Baudan knows what is a scaffolding, so that the artery doesn't collapse in. So this is a stent. Once they put a stent, they put a balloon and then they open up the stent so that it sticks into the wall of the artery. It does not remove the plaque. The plaque remains there. This will be treated by anti-cholesterol drugs and so on. So there are a lot of medications you have to take after putting a stent. And you can put one stent, two, three, four, five, six, as many stents as you like, but the cost will be prohibitive because a stent is very expensive. So normally, if you have three vessel disease, there are three vessels, then it's better to do a bypass. And nowadays you have a mini bypass. where they bypass all the obstructions and leaving the disease as such to be treated medically. Okay, then this is a stent which is put inside the artery. This is how it will look. And over here is all the cholesterol and all the muck that was plastered onto the wall. So it is a type of quick fix. It's not a cure. It is only a temporary means to keep the artery open. And then you change your lifestyle, stop smoking, and get the cholesterol down. I don't know why it's not working. Okay. Okay. So I was talking about stenting, but there is one problem with the stenting, one very big problem, that it has to be done within 1 hour from the onset of pain. And how many of us can reach the hospital in 1 hour? You know, first we'll call our relatives, we'll first call our friends, then we'll call the ambulance. The ambulance will take us. And if the hospital has a 24 by 7 cath lab, then they can take you and do the angiography and put a stent and remove the obstruction. But you have 1 hour, and after 1 hour, there is exponential damage to the heart. So that if you do after 4 hours, suppose, then it is just money for the cardiologist, because you are not going to benefit. That heart muscle is already dead, and what the doctor is doing is only putting a stent and opening the artery, but the artery is now supplying dead muscle. So you are not going to benefit from the stenting. So this is the problem, that how to bring patients to the cath lab within this window. It's called a therapeutic window. So even before the stenting and angiography came, people were thinking in terms of a medicine that can burst the clot. Suppose we have a drug, when we inject and it can dissolve the clot, that will be wonderful. So people started working on the clot bursting drugs, and they are called thrombolytics. The name is thrombolytic. There are so many. They were all the old ones, very ineffective. I have used them. They hardly did anything except give side effects. And then came these TPA inhibitors. These are the latest, Alteplase, Reteplex, and then came this Tenecteplase. It is called TNK. It's the most advanced thrombolytic to date. Now the manufacturers, they claim that it has a Lazarus effect. Now let me tell you what is a Lazarus effect. Lazarus, is a biblical figure. He was a very good friend of Jesus Christ. He lived in Bethany, and he had two sisters, Maria and Martha. Lazarus fell ill and sent a message through Maria to Jesus Christ. But Jesus said that I will come. But when Jesus arrived at Bethany, they didn't have aeroplanes, and they walked. Lazarus was already dead for 4 days. And when Jesus saw Lazarus, he said, "Arise." And Lazarus stood up alive. So this company is saying that if you give this TNK to an almost dead person, he is going to be alive. He's going to suddenly get up. This is an advertisement. So they use the word Lazarus for this ad. Now, I have experience of Tenecteplase. because I lived in Aligarh, that is away from Delhi, and there were no cath labs there in those days. So we used to give this drug, and it used to, if not completely, it was opening the artery somewhat and allow, say, 20% of blood to flow, even if 20% is going to save a lot of muscle. And after giving Tenax tablets, we used to stabilize the patient and then send him to the nearest cath lab in Delhi. So they will get a patient whose artery is partially open, and they will do the angiography and stenting. So that is very good. But for those people who are living next door to a hospital, and they can just go to uh, the cath lab, and they have the facilities, so they can put a stent. It is a matter of minutes. They can do it very fast. So this is about thrombolytics. Now I am coming to the next part. Heart failure, very common, because these two diseases are so common, the heart attacks and the hypertensive heart disease. So when the heart fails, then it starts dilating, ballooning up. Why is not working? And then it becomes like this. This is the right ventricle. The whole left ventricle is like a bubble, a big balloon, and it just does like this. Doesn't work as a pump. So in that case, you have medical treatment, and heart transplant is out for the elderly. Sorry to say, if any of us need a heart transplant, you're not going to get it, because that is reserved for younger people who have a longer life expectancy. And it is also a very, very major surgery. So, plant, I want to show this plant to Leslie. This flower. Can you name this? Can anyone name this? This is the bedrock of treatment for heart failure. Leslie is looking at this. And
I'm now having a heart attack. Well, it's called ladies' glove.
Yeah?
It's called ladies' glove. Ladies' glove.
Ladies, yes, okay. Its actual name is, yeah, you are right, foxglove. Its name is foxglove.
Yeah,
this
foxglove, a ladies' glove. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It's from the plant.
Now this drug, this is not a drug. It is a herb. This herb was used for treating heart failure in India when the Britishers were there. And you see, in India, the Mughals, the rulers who made Taj Mahal, they used the Unani medicine. Unani means from Yunan, from Greece. So they patronized the Greek system of medicine. And the Greek Unani doctors, they were using this herb for treating heart failure, dropsy. So when the British came, they analyzed this foxglove, and they found that it contained alkaloids, that the name is lanatoside. And so they purified, and till now, after 300 years, it is still one important drug called digoxin or lanoxin here in the treatment of heart failure. It is indispensable. This drug is still used, and it was derived from a herb. And not only that, it is also used for rhythm disorders, like atrial fibrillation. There's so many rhythm disorders. Sometimes you need a pacemaker also. So that's what I wanted to say about foxglove. Now, I mentioned heart transplantation. The first human heart was done by Christian Barnard in 1967 in South Africa. His patient was Louis Washanki, who died 18 days later. Now, currently, 75% of the heart transplant, they live for 5 years. But it's very invasive procedure. You need to have a heart donor, and above 65 is not, it is a contraindication. They don't do it in elderly people. Why? Because the life expectancy is believed to be low. So the elderly people will get an artificial heart or some assist devices, you have to carry it around with you. And that is temporary for 1 or 2 years. Otherwise, there's no other option. Now I'm coming to the last part, thankfully. It is aortic valve. It is the main valve in the heart, and then it works round the clock. So as you go older, there's a wear and tear in the valve, and calcium starts depositing. In fact, I was doing echocardiography and I saw my own aortic valve. I see calcium on it. And then my elder brother in Singapore, he also has calcium in the heart. So as you grow older, more and more people are going to have aortic valve disease because it will get calcified. And elderly people, they have many problems. They are hypertensive, they have borderline kidney functions, they have poor lungs, poor mobility, and so on. So they can't withstand an open heart surgery lasting 8 hours where the valve is removed and a metallic or prosthetic valve is put in. For them is no go-go. Many of the patients die on the table when they have this surgery. So a new innovation. This is the aortic valve on the table when the surgeon opens it. He is about to do a valve transplant. I'll show you an animation. This is called, I hope it opens because it has refused to open a number of times. This is called TAVR, TAVR. TAVR is, no, it's not transcatheter, it's transaortic valve replacement. It is done through a wire without general anesthesia. The patient is lying, and within an hour, you can put a new valve in it. This is the aortic valve. You see, it's hardly opening. It should be open about 3.5 centimeters square. And when it is 1 centimeter or less, then it has to be replaced. So what is done is through the leg artery, a guide wire is passed like this into the heart, the left side of the heart. Then they pull a balloon and position the balloon in between here like this, and then they open the balloon. What happens is it breaks all the calcium and all the stuff, and it destroys the valve. So now there's no valve there. In this place, there's no valve, and blood is going to and fro. Then they put the console. This is the console. This is the valve actually. This is the valve and a balloon. And then they push it right across the valve, and then they inflate a balloon, and there it is. The valve starts working. No surgery required. He may be 80-year-old, or he may be super old. Old is 65 plus and super old is 80. The valve is working and it's going to last at least minimum 5 years. When I was in India, the cost of this procedure was 30,000 US dollars 3 years ago. And now it must be much cheaper because mass production is there and they are treating people left and right. And even the young people, they don't want to go through this open heart surgery. They want to go through this over in 1 hour and you have a new valve. So I have come to the end of my lecture. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Manan. It was very interesting and informative.